So I will introduce, as we see Warson coming through, we'll get her out into lane 3, 100 out. So next event on the track will be the men's A 3,000 metres, and I will introduce the field shortly. We'll just finish this event. So Talia Warsnam, she'll round out the field here in the women's C. 3,000 metres as we look across the other side of the track, and the men are now lined up for the 3,000 metres. We have Nathan McConkey to the finish line, please. Nathan McConkey to the finish line. Underway now in the men's 3,000 metres A race. Peter Green from Box Hill, Ed Marks from Glen Huntly, Hafdush Rinsos, Glen Huntly, Matt Hussey, Western A's from St Stephen's, Ben Buckingham, Adam Spencer, Glen Huntly, Harrison Carr from Old Scotch, Lachlan Hurd, Casey Gadinia from St Stephen's, Tom Thorpe, Christopher Dale from Melbourne Uni, from Box Hill, Alexander Ritchie. We then have Kang Yoak and Callan Goldsmith from Mornington Peninsula, Nicholas Baggett, Box Hill, Andre Waring, Box Hill, William Collins and Knox. Liam Cashin to do the pacing. So Casham gets them through 34. Probably a tad slow for what they want. The boys will have to pick it up a little bit. So Nowak running as an independent. Green's up there, Husty up there as well. Also Buckingham, top seed coming into this event. As we see Waring, great run in Launceston, over 10 kilometres for Waring, and he's the one who's now pushing the pace up onto the back of Liam Cashin. So time check through the 400, about 67, so probably a tad slow for what they're after. That's about 8:20 pace. So let's see if they just wind it up a little bit over the next few laps, and we'll get a good idea as they go through the 1K mark as to how they are tracking. So starting to spread out, which is a good sign that the pace is lifted. So Liam Cashin leading the way. Green sitting not far behind his Box Hill teammate there in Waring. Nowak content to be on the rails. Hussey with him, also Buckingham. Then we have Ed Marks looking in good position too. Thorpe is up there. So quite content to stay in position for the moment because the pace has cranked up as they head towards the 800 mark. So it's definitely gone up. That's a 2:10. So they're just about back on pace. A little bit of legs coming together there as we see Casham nearly go over. They are starting to crowd up a bit. Buckingham is now becoming a big player in that bunch. So Waring, Green, Buckingham, Nowak on the inside. Hussey just sitting mid-pack at the moment. The pace has started to crank up. Ed Marks in good position. The Melbourne University runner there, that is Dale, new on the Melbourne running scene. So they're through the kilometre. Some gaps forming now as we see Hussey at the rear end just behind the two St Stephen's runner. Gap then to Shrinsos. And Baggett might be in that next position. Spencer might have to think about what he's doing at the moment. He's sitting in that second pack, and that gap is now out to about 15 metres between pack 1 and pack 2. So Spencer, we saw fantastic performance at Glen Huntly, his home track, to win the 1500. But at this stage, he's sitting off the main lead bunch as he moves to the 3,000 distance. So Casham's still leading them through, Waring, Buckingham. I'm impressed by Marks as well, always well positioned. Thorpe going nicely. Hussey and Nowak now starting to lose contact as well. So the gap now of 10 metres. Nowak's just dropping back. So Hurd doing what he can to stay on the back of pack 3 as they now start to get some level of separation. Cashin's done his job. That leaves Waring in front. Waring, Buckingham, Green looking good. He was happy with his 1500 a few weeks ago as well. So Peter Green having a good season so far in this very, very unusual year that's been 2020. So Waring and Buckingham, Dale working hard. Now Marks is being asked the question as he sits at the back of that pack. Thorpe has moved through beautifully. Hardly called Tom Thorpe, but he's been a presence. So Nowak, Hussey. Then Baggett, Spencer, Strinsos, Ritchie, Hurd, Goldsmith, and Collins. So it's a breakout front now. Waring, never underestimate the strength and the tenacity of Andre Waring. He's certainly putting it down to Ben Buckingham as they go through the 2 kilometre mark, I think at about 5:24. So Waring doing the work out front. Buckingham. Looks like he's just getting a bit of a choppy stride there, so I think Ben's got a little bit more to go here, but he's quite happy for Waring to still do the work as they come through, and they will get 2 laps. Gap now about 20 metres back to Thorpe. Green still in there. Marks hanging on nicely behind Dale. So 2 to go for Waring. Buckingham on his heels. Gap of 20 to Thorpe, Green, Dale and Marks. Spencer decided to make his move 2 laps out. What has Adam Spencer got over this last 800 in the 3000? Baggett, Strinsos, Hussey, Nowak, Hurd, Ritchie, Goldsmith, Collins in that order. 2 laps to go. According to our track referee, it's not over yet, and I agree with him. It is a race in 2 here. Andre Waring, Ben Buckingham. Gap of probably 35 metres now back to Thorpe and Green. Dale and Marks just starting to edge out. A little bit of pushing and shoving here. So Buckingham's come through on the inside. Waring tried to defend his position. Buckingham starting to really go for it. Waring, I don't think, got the tone now. Green moves into 3rd ahead of Thorpe. Dale and Marks will have a good battle. Spencer's probably left it a little bit too late, but he's probably running for a PB here over an unfamiliar distance. And Baggett in next position. Strinsos, Hussey. Hurd's a big run over 3,000. We're more used to Lockie Hurd over the 8. Kang in next position, just ahead of Ritchie. Goldsmith and Collins battling at the back of the field. But Buckingham has really strode out. Probably sat for a fair amount of time on Waring doing all the work, but a great run from Ben Buckingham, and look at that stride pattern as he comes back around the home bend into the straight. Ben Buckingham will take this. Time check, it's going to be right on. I think 8:02 is the outer mark for our incentive awards here. I think Ben Buckingham might get a little bit of a payday here today. It's going to be a good win. It's a sub 8 minutes. Andre Waring, though, how brave. What a performer. Andre, 8:03 thereabouts. Peter Green, happy with his year. He'll be happy with that time. Sub 8:10. Thorpe right on the 10. Marks stepping up. And gee, Spencer, if only Adam Spencer. Good run from Dale. Hussey coming through for an 8:22. We'll see him in the De Castella. Baggett in next position. Lockie Hurd, 3,000 metres. Wow. Strinsos. Goldsmith finishes nicely. Kang Nowak in next position. Then we'll have Ritchie and the young man from Knox in Collins. So exciting race there. Ben Buckingham. What a run.